You mean we have to bust it open?
Oh, you're doing it, or else we're gonna bust your whole scheme wide open.
Sure busted him wide open.
Busted. This case just got busted wide open.
Open! Break yourself, fool!
You broke it wide open, Dad.
I'ma bust both of your heads wide open.
Busted.
He's the guy who tipped me off the Pepe Sylvia.
Yeah, it's totally wide open.
All right, open wide.
Say what again?
Bust this thing wide open.
Shut the fuck up. I know that was you. I ain't even gotta look. I should send your ass back to Crenshaw Pete with his hot ass coat hangers, bitch. Would you like that?
Oh, man, I wouldn't like that. I don't know about
Not
you
this
guys.
guy. Not this guy.
That sounds like something that would be bad.
Real bad.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Busted Wide Open podcast. It's your buddies, your scary hosts, your friends,
Favorite ghouls.
your favorite spooky guys. My name's Tommy O'Neill.
I'm spooky guy Brian Cintron.
That's right, man. You're the most terrifying person I know.
You're friggin' right.
You are, as far as I'm concerned, the current day Socrates on Halloween.
Damn.
That's how much knowledge you've accumulated
I don't want that.
about Halloween and scary movies, and you've seen it, but your brain is so beat up by drugs and alcohol and time that you just don't remember how much you remember.
That's very accurate, actually.
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Hey, guys, this is a very special episode of the Busted Wide Open podcast. We're going to do some Halloween stuff.
Woo! Trick your treats.
We're going to
if
talk
you will.
about some of our favorite childhood Halloween movies. Now, some of these movies, they might not be your movies of that you find at the best, but these are some, maybe if you grew up from 1988
the year of our Lord.
to about 2000, and that was your childhood, well, then you might appreciate
You should be very familiar.
some of these movies that we're going to talk about.
Quite a few. Unless you've been living in a cave, with a couple narcs.
And everyone has a different childhood experience with movies. That's why these are a little jumbled. Some of these I've seen, and some of them you haven't seen, and some of them I haven't seen, and some of them you've seen.
Boom.
That's a lot.
And some maybe I've seen and I don't remember I've seen because of my drug and alcohol fueled existence that you mentioned.
It's true, man. Halloween's a weird month for me because I'm more of a Christmas kind of guy.
So it's kind of like the opposite.
Yeah.
It's a little bit the opposite.
It is. But my wife, on the other hand, loves Halloween. And
She's a fan.
Therefore, I have to go to a bunch of different Halloween stuff to kind of satisfy the needs of the Halloween.
Of course.
So I've been to
Get the
Halloween
urges
Horror
out.
Nights and all that stuff. Yeah, the Knott's Berry Farm.
That's a spooky thing, right?
I went to this haunted mansion. I don't know if I told you about this, but there was this naked guy in there.
He was naked?
Did I tell you about this?
Wiener out?
Oh my god, dude, it was nuts. So there was this haunted mansion in like downtown LA-ish. It's $60 an entry, and I was kind of like, all right, well, that's weird. It's like a haunted house for $60.
Is it enormous?
That's a lot, yeah.
Can you stay in the house?
And they were like, oh no, you get 6 drinks with admission. I was like,
Okay.
6 drinks. Well, they're gonna be
6 drinks.
watered down. 6 drinks is a
Trying to
lot.
get you loaded.
Yeah, but that's what my mentality was. It's like usually when that happens, it's a watered down alcohol.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Spritzer. It's a
Exactly, and it's
infused in alcohol.
It's pre-made. They've like put in the amount of mixer and
It's a
alcohol.
sangria.
Right.
You know?
I kind of went in with that attitude, dude. Couldn't be more wrong. They were prepping them as
need,
you were
brother?
coming in and pouring them filthy. And these
Like a
people,
double, maybe?
they were clearly working off just tips because they weren't afraid to pour
Winky.
thick glass. And there were mini cups. So they were just like filling them up and putting a little bit of
splash?
a thing. Oh man, so it was like 3 shots for each drink. Bro, by drink 4, I'm smashed. And I'm not even talking about what was cool about this place, but it's basically a really cool haunted house where each room is decked out in its own unique premise. The upstairs had its own thing.
Okay, dope.
There's 6 rooms upstairs. You walk into each one, and I got the scariest, most detail-oriented monsters I've ever seen in
Really?
person. Oh, yeah. And
Damn.
I've seen a lot of the Halloween Horror Night stuff, and I've seen a lot of the... I've been to Knott's Berry twice for their Halloween stuff. They kill it. They kill it. They're so good.
That's
the
tight.
actors, the characters are super good there.
I'm curious about that spot, so yeah, I'm curious to peep it out.
People walking on the streets are my favorite, where they're just
yeah.
jumping out at you and scaring you as
peekaboo,
much
yeah.
as they can.
Keeping you on edge.
Yeah. So this has made me like Halloween a lot. I like
Halloween's fun. It's very interactive.
as I've gotten older, I've really more enjoyed Halloween because when you're a kid, you love it. You're trick or treating and all that stuff.
That's a whole thing,
But
yeah.
now I'm an adult going to this haunted mansion with very adult stuff going on. The actors there are, I don't know if it's just because if it's LA or not, but the actors are very good at what they're doing, and they come up.
That's pretty sick.
They're so convincing, and they come up and talk to you, and they've got their whole little story, and they draw you in. And then you can ask them questions, and they'll tell you. You're like, all right, so where do we go next? Where's the basement at? Which is where the really scary stuff was at. Yeah.
Oh, no. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Exactly. Some people would tell you, and some people wouldn't tell you.
I don't
They're like,
know.
oh, you have to figure it out for yourself. And then other guys would tell us. So we got down to the basement. This guy was painting like a big picture or whatever, and then strobe lights kicked on, heavy metal music kicked on, and then he strips down butt naked. This is my first art dick.
Butt naked.
First art dick, and it's a grower, not a shower. You know, I'm not criticizing the guy because I got to be honest. I feel like it would be way more weird if he came out with an erection. You know what I mean?
No, of course.
In
no,
that
he
situation,
can't come out rock hard.
Art dick, you can't
Art
have.
dick is never rock hard.
You can't have rock hard.
Rule
art
number
dick.
1 of art dick. Yeah.
It is true. Yeah. So that was my
Wow.
first live art dig.
Bush?
No, I can't really because he was really painted.
He was painted?
Painted. Yeah. His whole thing was he was a painter and he was sacrificing himself to the demon. And when the demon came out of the painting, it was a female and she was completely nude.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh.
But her nudeness was very outshined by his nudeness.
A man will always outshine a woman when it comes to nudeness.
It's very
as
true.
weird as that sounds.
It's very
just,
true.
it's simian.
It's very distracting.
It's alarming.
Yeah. It's very distracting. And she came out and she killed him. She slit his throat.
Thank God.
Yeah, she slit his throat with a paintbrush, and then he died. And she was just like screaming at us, and then directed us out of the room. And it was
This
just
isn't
like,
supposed to
man,
happen. This isn't real.
It was nuts.
This is real.
It was nuts and spooky as fuck because you're in a very tight quarter. That's what makes it scary. You're in a very tight quarter area with about 12 other people, and they're right on top of you. The other basement area, you had to travel a good amount, and it was trajected through lights, would turn on in the basement randomly, and you had to go to the light and say the password, and then that would unlock you to the next area. Otherwise, it was completely pitch black, and people would just come out and scare you randomly. It was terrifying.
Crazy.
And you're not signing a waiver before you go into this thing. It is very raw, man. Very raw.
Okay, so
That's crazy.
Where's the drinking going down? Because
There's bars
how much
set up.
time?
There's bars set. It's a mansion, so like it's a soiree. The whole thing
Okay.
is a soiree, and there's bars set up throughout the whole house. And as you're traveling through these houses, there's going to be a bar set up out in front. It's like, hey, what's up, bro? What do you want? You want a drink? Okay, cool, man. It gives you the drink or
problem.
whatever, and then you slam it before you go into the next haunted, place. And there's 2 hosts, and the male host is very abrasive, and his wife is they're funny. I mean, and she was less abrasive, but still, I mean, on top of it, they're so funny, man.
Interesting. Damn.
Yeah, they really put the rolls on, and
That's wacky.
$60 a person, bro. There was a lot of people there. They were making bread, and it was
Crushing.
they had different sets at like 6:30, 9:30, and then a midnight set.
Hell yeah.
And it was buck. I couldn't imagine working the whole thing like that straight through though, but
Would it be cool on acid?
it depends on if you like acid and if you like Halloween horror
You like being
stuff.
terrified? You like being on acid?
Yeah, that really all
You
depends
know?
on the kind of person you are, because some people might not be able to hang. I can hang at this point. I am so numb to that stuff where by the second like haunted thing, I don't jump.
Nah, man, we there, man.
I
We
don't
there,
jump,
man.
but-
the 6 drinks, man. I'm loose now, man. We in
I
the-
will say this: my scapegoat. I put my wife in front of me, and I just throw her at things that are scary. I just toss her because she loves it. She loves it, and she's hyper reactive. Whether it be her enjoying it or trying to make them feel better about it, you know what I mean? Because they're working, and she's done that before. She's been a character
doubt.
at Halloween Horror Nights,
Yeah.
so she wants them to know that they're doing a good job.
Of course,
So
yeah.
she'll act a little more scared than usual, and then they like it, and they ante
Then
it
we
up.
going in.
Yeah. They double it
freaking
up.
out.
So Halloween's it's interesting. It's an interesting.
You don't do that on Christmas, you know?
You really don't. It's a whole other emotion that's expressed.
Different vibe.
It really is.
Should we do a haunted Christmas? Maybe.
Haunted,
what I
well,
mean?
there's a lot of places that have a haunted Christmas vibe. The,
Right.
Halloween Horror Nights for the last 2 or 3 years has had a haunted Christmas thing where they bring in Krampus. They do the Krampus house.
The Krampus. I want to
Krampus.
talk to Krampus.
Yeah,
I mean, have you been to Christmas, Florida? That's as haunted Christmas as it gets, dude.
it is pretty spooky.
Backwoods Christmas is spooky.
I remember going on haunted hay rides when I was a kid. Did you do that?
I've been on one of those, yeah.
Yeah?
I was in first grade, little guy.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
I thought it was pretty cool too.
It wasn't hot outside. Anytime it was nighttime and not hot in Florida, I was down to do anything outside. You know what I mean?
Very true.
Anything.
Very true.
Sign me up. Yeah.
I liked the spooky stuff. I wasn't in love with it when I was a kid. But that's why I wrapped more movies. The movies that I like to watch when I was a kid for Halloween were more Disney movies, like the
Aladdin
fake
guys, like Aladdin.
I didn't start watching real scary movies until I started hanging out with you, and you brought me into
the
a
Grim
whole
Reaper of life.
Oh man,
hey buddy,
crazy movies! I started watching with you at the theater. I would never go see a scary movie at the theater. That never did that before.
Oh, that was a big part of our Friday nights and shit with the boys. Whatever came out.
It was the move.
Just going to see the spooky flick and
but
laughing.
We would see comedies too, but comedies and scary movies. That was the move.
Sometimes scary movies are funnier than the comedies you go see. It's a crazy, weird thing.
You might get a laugh or two, but I don't remember seeing a scary movie with you that was like funny all thick and through. I don't.
This was hilarious.
Never. Maybe it was the encasing. Maybe it was because we were extremely intoxicated. Maybe. Oftentimes we were the only ones in the theater. We were
really setting the vibe.
One of two people in there, and it's just petrified.
3:30 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon or whatever.
What's your fondest childhood Halloween moment?
Man, wow, that is a toughie. Childhood, because we trick or treated till I feel like I was like 17.
Yeah,
or some
no,
shit.
You can go your teenage years is your childhood. For sure.
So I would say like Mojo was involved in going through Stony Brook and stuff. Because Stony Brook had a...
Mojo
Miyagi. They had like a little wagon that would take you to different neighborhoods and stuff through
Did
Stony
they really?
Brook. And it was crazy. They had a whole cool thing figured out in Stony Brook.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. They were like, if you're too far from your place, a wagon would come and scoop you up and take you to different neighborhoods and stuff.
Crazy.
Which was pretty cool. But that was like 16-year-old. I was Glenn Danzig from the Misfits for Halloween, like tight.
But that's cool. You still dressed up.
Yeah, I guess, it was pretty good. Did
there was kids that didn't dress up that
trick
still
or treat.
Went out in just like white shirts. I'm like, I'm a ghost.
I'm spooky.
Yeah.
And hungry.
I think 14 was the last year. Freshman year was the last year that I went out Halloween.
Freshman year?
That was it.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in that vicinity.
And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm in high school.
This is it, man.
I can't do this anymore.
I have a job.
Yeah, I have a job. I work at Chuck E. Cheese. I dress up every day. I can't do this.
It's my day off, brother. What's going on here? Yeah. That and honestly,
I'll go buy candy.
Yeah, right.
This isn't worth it.
It's everywhere.
There's a dollar store right over there.
All year long.
I'll go buy
it. Waterford was a lot of fond memories of trick or treating. That neighborhood was in our youth so lit with trick or treating.
I'm really grateful that I lived in Waterford for a couple years when I was a kid before I moved to Eastwood.
I mean, Eastwood I'm sure was popping too.
Yeah, Waterford was a different. All my friends lived in Waterford. And Eastwood, like, I had to accumulate friends in...
Hey.
This is a really unique conversation that we're having right now.
Yeah.
So the way that our neighborhoods were set up, it was just, in walking distance of each other. And me and Brian grew up really close to each other.
Yeah.
And so many families had moved to this one particular area in Orlando, Florida, that it was just a nice suburban little heaven. Where
any town USA.
It felt
the suburbs.
It felt cut off to the rest of Orlando, and now it doesn't feel like that anymore. But there was a point where it was far away, and the development was by itself. I kind of want to talk about something really bad that I found out recently about a power plant. I don't know if you've heard about this
the
at
power
all.
plant, like the one.
Yeah, so
like Avalon.
I don't know if we should get into this right now, just because of the style
We're
of
talking
podcast.
about spooky stuff, man. I don't know, dude.
Well, spooky, not so spooky, because we can't do anything about it now. But when we were kids, in Eastwood and in Stony Brook and in Avalon, all the asphalt that was made or used or whatever, it was basically created with coal resin that was generated from the power plant that was down the street, and that whatever material that they were using was radioactive and also known as cancerous material. So there's giant lawsuit going on where we grew up when we were kids.
Really?
Yeah, there's a giant lawsuit going on there's a bunch of families of children that have gotten cancer and elderly people that have gotten cancer.
Radioactive.
I don't know much about it, so I don't want to get into it, but I've thought about busting open a podcast.
We might need to bust it open sometime. We got to look into that a little bit.
Because my dad's trying to sell his house, and he's not in the vicinity of it. And he's having a hard time selling his house just because he's neighboring it. And he's not in the same vicinity of it. And he's gotten his property tested, and his property doesn't have that material in it. So it's affecting a lot of people right now in Florida. It's crazy.
I don't know. I wonder if my mom knows about this. This is fascinating.
Well, your mom sold the property at the right time.
Years ago.
Yeah, the right time. They got out. Perfect timing.
I thought you were going to say it was on an ancient Indian
ground or
burial
whatever?
ground, which
No, that's why I
would
didn't
kick us
wanna-
right off to our...
That's really why I didn't want to get into it. But it's crazy that when we were kids that it felt so perfect and suburban and just,
That almost makes more sense. That adds to the suburban thing. Like, we just build it and they will come.
that's like how they were able to do it so fast, I guess. I don't know. I really don't understand the
shit.
rationality behind
built it
doing
lickety
that.
split.
But they built all that stuff so
Lickety
fast.
split.
But luckily I don't have cancer, so I don't really know.
Luckily, bro.
I don't want to take this podcast any further than that.
That's it.
That's a
it.
little tease. And
A little dark tease because we're getting spooky. It's Halloween.
Well, I do think it's interesting because the people from Flint, Michigan are representing the people in Orlando. So it's kind of like this giant tie-in. So maybe a little cock tease for you guys. Listen to a future episode. We're going to have more information on that. I've interviewed my dad a couple times, and I have recordings that I've been waiting to release about some of this stuff. So
And he doesn't know what's going on.
there's somebody that knows nothing. It's my pops.
His pops.
I'm just kidding.
Baby.
He's a brilliant man. And, so listen forward to those podcasts. But,
Listen close.
Halloween's here. It's now.
It's now, and let's enjoy it.
It's actually happening in the next couple days. Are you
really
doing
is.
anything for Halloween?
I am actually, man.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to see the OCs.
Okay. That sounds fun.
That's going to be a ripper.
Are you going to dress up?
I've been thinking about it, but no, because whatever I use, it's going to fall off. If I wear something, it's coming off.
Yeah.
I was going with the cat ears and like the tail or whatever. That's coming off.
That's why you have to dress up as something that looks like you. That way you just throw on like a t-shirt and you're just like,
Yo.
that's you.
Like, out there on a polo belt. Yo, I'm George Clooney.
Right.
You get it?
Yeah, no, you could definitely do Puerto
No problem,
Rican
right?
George Clooney.
Jorge Clooney. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be lit. What about you, man? Cut loose?
I don't know. I
Yeah?
don't know. I might drive to a really good neighborhood and walk around with the dogs dressed up.
Have them trick or treat, so then you get the candy for them.
I would love to say that I'm going to trick or treat, but I'm not going to trick or treat. But
The dogs can trick or treat.
I know my wife likes it, and I can't walk around a neighborhood with kids without my wife.
Trick or treat, absolutely not.
Legally speaking,
Getting candy.
yeah, that's not really
Stealing
allowed.
candy from a baby.
So, but my wife makes everything better. She always leaves.
Of course, that's
I always go to like a toy store with her. Always. I'll be at a toy store with her or a comic book store or something like that, and then she'll leave me, and then I'm just surrounded by 3-year-olds. I'm like, this isn't legally. I gotta get out of here.
I'm intoxicated
right?
too. This
Parents,
is all very weird.
parents are not. Yeah, I'm out. See ya.
Can we help you, sir?
You just look bizarre, as
What is
a
happening
grown
here?
man. So I made that change, and I still like toys, and I still like going to little weird runoff hobby shops that just
Sure.
happen to also have a bunch of kids at them,
Spooky.
And we're in a weird world today, Brian, where, you can't pat a kid on his head and say, hey, Skipperoo, what's up, buddy?
Hey, handsome.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween,
Happy Halloween,
little buddy.
Little buddy. Speaking of Halloween, if you guys haven't checked out our Halloween video, which there's no way you're listening to this and not, it is on our YouTube channel. You can go ahead and watch that. It's also on our other stuff. So
It's pretty lit. If I had to put a label on it.
honestly, it's my favorite thing that we've done so far.
Yeah. I think me too.
A lot of influence came from the childhood movies of Halloween. I would say I was feeling very Twilight Zone-y when I presented you with half of the idea, and then you came up with the other half of the idea. And then we made that video. I like when that happens.
Me too.
I like when we marriage ideas that
Perfect fusion.
seem random, and then they come together perfectly. So
We're all one.
I did tell you the other day that I watched a movie and it kind of blew my mind that you've never seen it or maybe don't remember it.
I think it's in the back burner.
I watched a movie. This is from my childhood that I know my brothers watched it and I know it was on TV enough, but everybody knows and remembers Ernest. I don't know his last name, but Ernest.
He didn't have one.
I don't know his actor's name or anything like that.
Nobody does.
But it was just Ernest, right?
Ernest.
Ernest does this. Ernest does that. Ernest goes to
got
this.
a lot of wacky situations.
He goes to camp. He basically did every single holiday movie.
Ernest files for divorce.
Ernest drops the kids off at the firehouse because he can't handle the responsibility.
Ernest comes out of the closet. Yeah, there's a
lot
long
of them. There's a lot of them. Trilogies.
I never got into Ernest.
I didn't get into him either, but there was one movie that they did right.
And it was...
I liked it. Ernest... It's the Halloween. It's the Halloween one. It's Ernest Scared Straight, I think is what it's called.
I think you're right, actually.
I think it's Ernest Scared Straight. It's not like Ernest does Halloween or Ernest is Halloween. It's like, because the other ones were like Ernest Goes to Camp. It was just telling you what happens in it. It's not much of a surprise.
Man.
Yeah. But this one had legit good actors. Had the classic guys in it. The quiet dude and then the over the top Texas guy who's like really.
Oh boy, I tell you.
You know what I'm talking about? They had some legit actors, some good child actors in it. And they also got the makeup guy from the Killer Clowns to be in it, from Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Which was pretty poppin'.
It just, I think, happened within the last 5 years of it. So they had the same costumes lying around, and they revamped them.
Perfect.
And they basically just put them on screen for the troll. So
That's ideal.
If you guys don't know, basically what happens, the synapse of it is Ernest accidentally unlocks a troll that kills kids in the little town that they're in.
We've all been there.
And this older witch lady that lives on the end of town warns Ernest about it and then ends up helping them, and they stop the troll with some miak. They think it's milk, but they use milk, and the troll, nope, doesn't work, and then Miak ends up taking them down. But
whatever Miak is.
It's a misspelling in a spell book that they find, and that's pretty. It's a great movie, man. I can't recommend it more. If you're looking for a good little date night movie to watch for Halloween, like if you're one of those couples that likes to sit down and watch, that is a perfect movie to watch.
You're not trying to watch something to haunt your dreams, just like a cute little.
And Ernest kills it, and the witch lady that's at the edge of town, I can't. Her and Ernest, when they're on screen together, they murder it. They're the best actors in it. I don't know how much they both got paid, but they definitely
not enough.
They were the best. They were the highest paid actors on that.
I'm sure they did well. Just off VHS. I remember that thing on VHS. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
VHS, those things sold, bro.
They were like records back in the day.
They really were.
If you're a band that could sell records, you did good. Even if you weren't super well known, same thing with Ernest. If you weren't a guy, he's not a guy that sells out box office, but those VHSs, wow. They
selling all day.
They rent a lot.
They rent a lot.
A lot of people rent those.
Did you rent Ernest? Did you own Ernest?
I was one of those families that rented.
You rented Ernest.
I was a rented family. Yeah.
Rented family.
Well, I couldn't. That's a childhood. It's like a positive, again, more Disney type of movie for me.
Right.
What's a movie for you that you kind of saw when you were a kid? Because you have a different Halloween thing. I gave you one.
Yep.
I gave you one that I have that you haven't seen. I know you didn't see it, but
nope, not that I recall.
What's one that I haven't seen?
So my young Halloween was Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead.
Oh yeah, keep away from Pumpkinhead in case you're tired of living. Okay.
I don't even know. Like I tried to watch that movie, and I know we talked about it a little bit, but I haven't. I don't know anything about it. Paint the picture for me.
Oh, I love this picture. It brings a smile to my face. Pumpkinhead's one of those, but man, there's a few movies that now you watch and you find the humor in it.
Is it like Leprechaun? Because that Jennifer Aniston, maybe we should save that for the honorable mentions, but that Leprechaun movie has like that 80s feel where it's like over the top ridiculous and like, yeah, we know this looks silly. Is it like that?
Yeah, but Pumpkinhead has a better spookiness to it. Leprechaun, I feel like, was humorous from the start. You know, he says funny stuff.
Yeah.
You know, he's a humorous yet freaky character, you know. Pumpkinhead, 1988, so it's fresh to us, you know. These guys, These guys are taking a trip down the road, whatever, rocking and rolling. They're in the heave-ho, any town backwoods, USA, all right? They go to this little spot to get gas. The kids are like, bang, 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 around there. And they're
that's
dirt
always
bikers.
that's always a creepy one.
You already know it's gonna get creepy.
Backwoods is creepy.
Very creepy.
Anytime you got like a little rednecky vibe.
You know there's some mean stuff
Terrifying.
going on, for sure.
God, you love the scary stuff.
Love it.
Love
So, okay, they get this little gas station, little like mom and pop shop. And I won't paint the whole picture, of course, but this is the fun intro.
Because you're recommending people to watch it.
Yeah, you should peep this out. Absolutely, especially Halloween. So they all get off. They get off and they unload their dirt bikes, and it's like a mountain-esque backwoods, if that makes sense. It's like
Okay.
kind of Arizona-ish.
Is it dark or daylight out?
Daylight.
Okay.
Bright.
That's even creepier.
Bright out. And they're just like cruising in the dirt bikes, and there's a dad, Pa,
Yeah.
and like
Ugh.
a little boy.
Yeah.
And it's just, dude, you would think if it wasn't 88, it's the kid from Jerry Maguire. They are identical. Like the big glasses, the
glasses
blonde
on.
hair,
Yeah.
like the prescription is way crazy.
Yeah.
They look, I was almost like, is that the kid? It's no way it could be. But and Pa is Elaine's boyfriend. Elaine's like a psychologist boyfriend that like Kramer goes to meet with him and stuff.
He's got a good scary guy. He
That guy.
could do a good scary guy for sure.
He's good as Pa.
Yeah.
And the worst of the dirt biker guy is also one of Elaine's boyfriends.
Damn.
He's the one
Elaine messed with some filthy guys.
filthy guys.
Elaine from Seinfeld.
Elaine from Seinfeld, in case there was any questions there.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Filthy guys are great. He's the dude that is Dustin Hoffman in Star Wars. He's that guy.
He's Dustin Hoffman in Star Wars?
He's the one that lies about Dustin Hoffman being in Star Wars.
Oh,
just to get the date, you know what I mean?
okay.
So he gets the dirt bike, and the kids, Pa's like, I'm gonna go run this feed over to Jemediah's house real quick. Runs it over. The kid's alone. He goes to play with the dirt bikers. The kid, Bubba Booey, gets crushed by a dirt bike.
Whoa.
Oh yeah,
The little kid from
Jerry
Maguire?
gets crushed.
Damn.
Pa, not happy about this when he gets back. Pa goes into some,
Dark magic.
dark things. Yeah, dark magic we'll call. He goes into the bayou. It comes from like Arizona to like the bayou all of a sudden.
I love when movies do that.
You're like, what's going on?
Out of nowhere, it's like a
Where's this tropical rain?
completely different scene. You're like, are we in California right
This
now?
is New Orleans. I don't know what's going on. Yeah. The woman he interacts with, that Potter interacts with, haunting scene.
Yeah.
As a child, particularly haunting. Now it's just like, damn, you look like that's still kind of freaky, man.
Yeah. Those are always weird ones.
You're like, wow, that's crazy.
That's what I thought when I was watching Ernest, because they use
Whoa.
out of nowhere the troll uses the child's voice. It's like this
That's
big
kinda
scary
freaky.
monster. It's like, hello, Ernest. It's like, oh my god,
Oh my
it
God.
absorbed the soul of that child. Sorry,
Freaky.
Didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Because you need to see Pumpkinhead, I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
And things stir up from there.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I definitely need to see that. I haven't seen it, and it's my wife has been bugging me on it. I would say for the last couple Halloweens. I don't know why we haven't gotten to it, but this Halloween,
Check it out.
I have a feeling we'll get to it.
It's on one. I believe it's on Amazon.
Yeah.
And it's not as campy as it sounds. It's actually, it'll grab your attention. You're like, this is fucking crazy. This is crazy.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we can talk about Halloween without mentioning my favorite Halloween movie that's not a Halloween movie.
Your favorite Halloween movie?
But it's not dignified as a Halloween movie, but it is probably my favorite fun Halloween movie to watch.
Okay.
I'm watching it every year on
Every year.
Halloween. Beetlejuice. The
Beetle guys.
the misspelled Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Do you know why they
Come at it misspelled, please.
Do you know why they misspelled the title?
Bust it wide open for me.
Because remember, his casket says something else.
Right.
His tombstone is spelled with a G U I S E, right?
G-E-U-I-S-E? Something like
BEATLE GUISE. Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Is how his name's spelled. And when Tim Burton presented the flick and with the title, they went back and forth on what to call it. Tim Burton wanted to name it Beetlejuice from the beginning, and they went back and forth, and he came up with a bunch of other names, and basically they settled on Beetlejuice. And they wanted to spell it vernacularly satisfying, where Beetlejuice, the way, whatever.
The way you might assume
it would spell. But in order to get people to go see the movie, essentially, not knowing the box office smash it was going to be regardless.
Smash.
And it didn't need any help whatsoever with the title. And basically they settled on that. So it's funny that the title of the movie Beetlejuice is different from his actual spelling of his name throughout the entire movie.
That is pretty wacky, actually. Yeah.
Several times you'll see the spelling of his name, and it's not spelled the same as the.
Yeah.
It's really weird. It is
very weird.
One of my favorite.
Me too.
If
I like
not,
it quite a bit.
If not my all-time favorite Michael Keaton movie. It's probably
Might very well be.
It's not his first time on camera by any means, but it's his first big gigantic role that
put him on.
It really did. Him and Tim Burton formed a relationship from that movie, and they were able to do Batman from it. And Michael Keaton nailed it from everything that I've ever seen as far as interviews goes. He walked into the audition and just had the idea of what he was supposed to be and smashed it out of the park. I love when actors can do that. He improv'd a lot of the funny stuff throughout it. And I love Halloween movies that are funny on top of being a little spooky.
Yeah.
Original.
It's a great combination. I think Halloween needs that twist.
Comedy and horror go so hand in hand.
Yeah.
It really is.
Oddly,
they're
yes.
very similar setups. You need a setup to the punch. With drama, you could draw a story out, and it's like, all right, whatever. And then eventually you get to this kind of feeling of an end. With comedy and horror, you need that setup, punch, bang at the end.
Boom.
You need that.
Yeah.
And they all kind of thematically have that going. All the great ones have that, I feel. Maybe there's exceptions in the wing, but I do. My favorite childhood comedies and horror movies have that feeling, hand in hand.
And I do. I think maybe that's just a Tim Burton thing, but I do feel like Beetlejuice I put in the Halloween category also.
Yeah,
for sure.
I would put it there too because it initially was supposed to be a lot scarier than it was released to be. It wasn't supposed to be a child's movie, which is funny because I loved it as a child. Initially, it was supposed to be for adults, and Beetlejuice was supposed to be much more of a rapey murderer guy than he came off on being. So the girl at the end who he ends up trying to marry, I forget her name, but he was basically supposed to come close to sexually assaulting her in the film.
Kind of weird and freaky stuff.
Right, and the film was supposed to be a lot darker and creepier, but they shot so much stuff and they showed the production company, all the stuff that they had, and they basically told them they couldn't release this the way it is. So, right. So then they childed it down and made it more of a kids movie, and ironically, it became the super smash that it was. And I don't know that it would have been the super smash had it been as dark as Tim Burton wanted it to be.
Maybe not, and that might have redefined Tim Burton's whole career, to be honest.
Right.
That kind of set a foundation for him of that lighthearted spookiness. I don't know if lighthearted is the right word, actually, but a more...
No, I totally agree with you, though.
Digestible spooky?
Digestible spooky, where you don't realize you're watching a horror movie. And you're...
Yeah, and mainstream, yet it's almost like if you ask a Tim Burton fan if he's mainstream, that's almost like insulting. But it is at the same... who doesn't know who that guy is? Who doesn't watch his
Stanley
movies?
Kubrick is mainstream.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about?
Yeah.
So
it's not like a slide, but
ultimately a great movie. It launched careers. Alec Baldwin's in it, and he gets outshined yet again. There's a bunch of superstars that have
Gina Davis.
great careers throughout their whole lives from that movie. Both the dead people and the alive people. Something like The Book of the Dead is in it, and that's one of my favorite books ever. That whole scene where they're going to see their psychiatrist or their handler or whatever.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorite scenes ever.
That's so crazy.
That scene is so great.
It's
so
very
great.
good.
I love it.
Cool flick. I don't say this often. That might be an interesting remake. Maybe. It might be horrific, but the darker tale on that could be an interesting...
The actor playing Beetlejuice,
man.
I don't want to do that. I don't think anybody would want to do that.
You can't even be... I mean, it can't be humorous. You know what I mean? It has to be a completely different... You can't try to be that guy.
It would have to be spooky.
100%.
The whole movie would have to be spooky.
That'd be interesting.
So the next one, I think you and I have both
Speaking of
seen
remakes.
again. We've both seen Beetlejuice.
Of course.
So
Yes.
this one has been remade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
This is on your list, and
this is on my list.
I didn't mention it on mine, and I hate that I didn't mention it because this
Okay.
one's fucking terrifying. But
Your list is my list, brother.
I didn't see it when I was a kid, so
Oh,
that is
what?
another thing. I didn't see it
That's
until I was
messed
a
up.
teenager, and I guess we can count that when I was a kid. That's
Sure.
still I'm a kid, but really appreciating it when I was an adult when South Park started making parodies of it. That's really
Chiming it
when I
up.
did.
Yeah. We're talking about Pet Sematary if you couldn't piece it together just yet. Not the remake. I was not super impressed with the remake.
I don't know if I saw the remake.
John Lithgow was in it. He's don't go down that road.
Huh.
Yeah.
Don't go down that road.
Yeah. South Park. Thanks.
No, I mean, they didn't invent that, dude. That's
No, absolutely not. But they
that's
like
Fred Munster himself, man.
Herman
Munster, sorry.
Herman Munster,
Sorry.
legend, man.
Yeah.
Legend. Yeah, no, they just tacked him up so good. It's like,
Dude,
it's so funny.
but oh man, that role is so great.
That's epic, dude. He is the heart and soul of that movie. Without him or
Couldn't
a
agree
weaker
more.
him, because homie's dad was not great. You know what I mean? The mom, wacky. It's like,
Over actors.
yeah, it's just too much. When the kid, spoiler, when the kid gets it, no, it's
Literally,
crazy.
my favorite scene in horror history is him getting on his knees and the slow
And, like,
motion,
slow-mo, just
shaking his head.
affected. It is great.
It has been parodied so
Truck
many
driver,
times, man. Not
Sheena
caring at
is
all. Not
a
caring at all.
Baraka, Sheena is cruising to the
That's
Ramones.
right. They do have the Ramones playing.
Baraka, no problem.
By the way, I saw Johnny Ramone. I saw his. Oh, this is crazy because I love the Ramones growing up.
Gabba gabba hey.
I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre the other night.
Yeah.
In the cemetery. I saw Johnny Ramone's grave.
Oh, damn, that's lit.
It was lit.
Damn, that's pretty cool.
It was spooky and lit and
Huh.
like sad and happy. It was weird.
Dude,
it was a
cool.
number. It was like whoa. I didn't know I cared about that.
Whoa,
Like it
that's
was
pretty
weird.
cool.
Yeah, it was weird. A whole process of it.
Huh.
Yeah, but Pet Sematary is one of those movies when you see it when you're a kid that is, or when you're younger, whatever. It startles you because of the children in it. That is the spookiest. The cat isn't freaky, but the kids in it are spooky as shit, man.
That poor little boy who's
The little blonde kid that's been in a bunch of
whose
shit.
parents Macaulay Culkin him.
Did they?
Yep, Culkin them.
I didn't hear
Macaulay
that.
Culkin them.
The little blonde kid in there?
Oh, his parents robbed him blind.
Oh, no.
He's got no money.
Wow.
And he's
that
a little boy
sucks.
too. It says in Kindergarten Cop, also Halloween classic. Men have penises and girls have vaginas.
It's not a Halloween classic.
The Halloween classic, Kindergarten Cop.
But
if
it-
Arnold's in it, it's an everything classic.
That kid did have a bunch of roles in the 80s and 90s.
He was in
everything.
Full House, dude.
He
He
was
was
in everything.
He was out there, man.
Wow.
And he got Macaulay Culkin.
Wow, that's crazy. Poor guy.
His own parents cockled him.
Wasn't talented enough to start his own podcast like McCulkin, you know?
He's got one.
Yeah, McCulkin ended up suing his parents and got all of
Good
his
for
money
him.
back and
Tight.
does a podcast and some other stuff, and he's good. He's all right.
Hey, what up, guys? This is a Thanks to My Parents podcast. They gave me a lot of money.
Pet Sematary is one of those fun ones that when I was a kid it was spooky, but now not so much, and I could watch it and it's like, oh man,
It's very entertaining.
It's a good
enjoyable.
one. It's a good one.
What holds up, again, not as spooky as when
I think
was
it
a
all
kid.
holds up.
No, it all holds up, but the spookiness that holds up the most to me is the sister scene. The sister is like,
Oh
Her
my
lips are-
god,
You got the
that's
hair-
always the best part of horror movies. All movies, the side tail out of
Right.
nowhere, it
Yes.
takes you into what?
And when I was young, my sister was
side
really
journey.
sick.
Oh my god,
and she died, and my parents blamed it on me. And like, dude, it was just
that's where that went.
she really kills that. Like the spine is like crazy.
So that's a
and-
guy, and that guy is notorious in horror movies. He ended up playing a bunch of different roles and a bunch of other stuff. You can verify this, and I don't know the roles, but he's in a bunch of horror movies because of that role, and he did that's a male that did that
Killer
role.
job, man.
Killed it.
It's crazy.
Killed it.
There's a scene like she opens the door and she just gets up from the bed so fast for somebody so like hurt. It's like and then, like, wacky, dude.
Oh
That's
my gosh.
That's definitely a top 3 in the horror scenes for me.
That's crazy.
I hold
man.
near and dear.
I
Yes.
couldn't agree more with you.
Freaky deaky, some would say.
I got to write down a note there. I want to make sure we get the video of it because that's crazy. That
think it
scene
was
is so
Thelma, maybe?
terrifying, man. Thelma's her name.
She's like, and then my parents were just so mean, and they would scream, and I'm like, ugh.
I couldn't have handled that when I was a little kid. When do you think you saw that? If you had to put a number on it, gun to the head.
That's probably like 10 or something like that.
Oh my god! I saw action movies that parents would
Oh,
be like,
yeah.
"How the fuck did you watch that?" I saw RoboCop when I was like 5.
Of course, yeah.
And that
like-
intro scene of him getting gunned down in the beginning, oh my god, dude, that
Yo,
thing is
RoboCop,
hardcore. And me and my brother's like, hell yeah, what's up next?
Damn right.
Didn't care, dude. Didn't
That's part
care.
of growing up in the 90s, I feel like. You have to be exposed to horrific death and horror. at a young
Arnold
age.
Schwarzenegger was my hero.
Shoo-dum, dum, dum, dum.
My dad was here. Arnold was like right here, super close to my dad. Super
Very,
close to my
very
dad.
close.
Very, very close.
Certain days you argue with dad and
You
Arnold's
didn't
a little
know. You
higher.
didn't know. You didn't know.
Certain movie come out,
It's very true. So I didn't have that. I always felt safety with Arnold. It was like anything could happen, and this dude's. I don't care.
no problem.
I don't care what happens.
Come with him if you want to live, man.
Exactly.
No problem.
Bingo, bango.
Yeah.
Which I think is why I watched childhood horror movies that weren't so horror.
Not so freaky dicky.
I watched Disney movies growing up. Did you
How
watch?
about Disney movies growing up?
Did you watch Disney movies growing up on the Disney Channel?
Oh, yeah, like those? Yeah, yeah.
Did you watch those?
Absolutely.
Do you
Luck
remember?
of the Irish, Smart House.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm glad you didn't mention the other ones that I want to save for an honorable mention. But this one I do want to talk
Tiptoe.
about right now. Yeah. Like,
Tiptoe.
You're a good host. You're a good host. We do good together. It's like we should do a podcast
Brink,
together.
you know what I mean? Remember that one?
Oh my god.
Fruit Bootin'.
Brink. Fruit Bootin'.
Halloween classic.
Halloween classic. The Halloween classic that they had a couple that were arguably Halloween classic, but the classic of Disney Channel, of course, was Halloween Town.
Good.
Did you see that growing up?
I liked Halloween Town.
You liked it?
And I feel like we were...
Oh man, I'm so glad you liked it.
What age? I don't even know how old we... Because no way we were like little boys watching
Teenagers.
that.
We had to
Right?
be in middle school.
It's like surprising that I dug it, but it was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like those
7th,
those
8th.
Disney ones.
I'm throwing it in that.
Right?
13 through 14. 12 through 14. Those
Yeah.
the first and the second one came out. And the second one I watched. The third one I can't really remember, but the first and
Oh, yeah, I
second
don't
I
know
definitely
idea.
remember.
Yeah,
for sure.
the first particularly. For me, I remember vividly, yeah. That like the like ghoul in that theater or whatever.
Yeah.
It's actually a little spooky.
It was spooky.
It's like, and Halloween or whatever. Yeah.
It was spooky, but still, I liked more of the storyline. I liked that it had this is scary, but we're still...
Remember, this is Disney, though.
Yeah, I didn't feel like that when I was a kid. I liked the characters. I liked the idea of having the Halloween Town where the whole thing was, it's acceptable, and it became less scary because everybody was a part of it.
It's all fun, bro. It's all... We're celebrating, like, fall and, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's not a skeleton. That's just a taxi driver.
He's chilling.
That's
He's
not
nice.
scary. That's
He
not that
drives
scary.
really well.
Right,
Yeah.
right now, people are commenting, Tommy is the biggest pussy on the face of the
It's
planet.
Halloween Town, bro.
I started listening to this podcast because I thought Tommy was a man. Now I know, shockingly.
Now we knew.
He's a pussy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the bottom of that.
I like Disney movies, man. You know?
There were, Disney made some decent. You remember there was like a mummy one?
Yep.
You remember that?
Yep.
I don't know if you remember if it was like Halloween or not, but like
No, it was a
mummy.
Halloween one because I think Halloween Town kind of launched that. Okay, now we definitely need to be
Casual,
releasing
spooky.
the Halloween ones because those can be lower budgeted than the Christmas ones. The Christmas movies, I think ABC and I don't know if they were all one at
And
that
Hallmark
point.
and
ABC was Disney at that point, I believe.
maybe
Because
Yeah,
I believe
maybe.
so. Because what's his face? Tim the Toolman
you
Taylor.
already know.
He did the Santa Claus movies, and he was on ABC, and those were produced by Disney. You know what? I'm 100% sure now at this point. So yeah, they put that money into Tim the Toolman Taylor, and their Halloween stuff was in the Disney Channel movies.
And you might credit Disney for kind of casualing up Halloween even more. Like,
I would say so.
making it cuter. Because Halloween can be very cute now. Like, you know, I'm not saying it's. I guess it's always been marketed for kids.
I wasn't going to argue with you. I was going to agree with you 100%. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think Disney does make it cuter. You have the Nightmare Before Christmas, which we're not going to talk about. You have the that Coco movie, which we're not going to talk about. You have Monsters Inc., which we're not going to talk about. You have a bunch of other casual Disney movies. As we're talking about it, you can see it flashing. All those movies that made it cuter and also scary. If you watch some of them, it's like, whoa, that's pretty hardcore for a kid's movie.
Damn you, Halloween Town. Your spooky ways. Yeah, how the hell? It's crazy.
If I was going to pick a movie to encapsulate like my childhood, I would have to say Halloween Town was it. That was the one that like I remember the most when I was a kid.
You remember the most?
That's the movie that I always wanted to see when I was a kid. And then I remember when I was like a teenager, I was like, oh man, is Disney still playing it? They are still playing it. And now I'm an adult. If you go on YouTube, you can watch the whole thing on YouTube for free. So every year I look it up and I watch it.
Look at that.
The same way I watch kind of like the Scrooge movies and stuff like that. Like the same way that I'll apply the Christmas movies.
Yeah, I get that.
I'll do that.
And Halloween Town was actually held up. I remember when we worked at the school, the kids
They liked it.
They
knew
like,
what it was
because
because of Disney.
Yeah, it's like
Disney's not going anywhere.
Back. Dude,
they're not going
anywhere. They're so good at keeping their stuff dope.
Couldn't agree more.
Like, hey, yeah, it's old. That makes it classic. So watch that and buy that again.
Yeah.
It's, fuck. Trick or treat.
What is your favorite Halloween movie when you were a kid? What's the movie that shaped you the most?
Easy.
Go ahead.
The friggin' Evil Dead.
Oof.
Easy.
I halfway knew that you were going to say that, but halfway you might have thrown something else out. I wasn't 100% sure.
That was the definitive, because I've watched so many from really little, like
The Ash.
Chucky. Chucky was one of the first I remember watching as a scary movie, and I just remember it was humorous off the get-go. And me and my mom we bonded from, my mom likes that silly stuff too. Not so much anymore, but Tales from the Crypt, the TV show, we would watch that.
Oh, man.
Like probably every Friday. I think it would play Friday nights.
We got to say that for the honorable mentions, man. We
for
got
sure.
We got to go
sure.
into that.
But now I'm just detailing the essence
I know
of
what you're
why
saying.
Evil Dead hit so hard.
I know what you're saying. I just want to remember it because we didn't write it down. We got to
For sure.
remember that
I
one.
didn't even think of that
I didn't
stuff.
even think about that either. That's a huge one for me when I was a kid. How did I not remember that? But yeah,
Right?
go ahead. Evil Dead.
So like
You saw that with your mom?
I saw actually with my dad, maybe my mom. Unfortunately, I don't remember her.
Your dad
being
was.
in this, but,
Your dad's
like,
a younger dad like my dad, right?
and he's just down. Like if I'm entertained, he's like, "This is tight. Like let's rock and roll." So I would be curious.
He's
to
just like
see,
looking over, make sure you're not scared out of your shit, Gord,
he's
right?
scared of his shit, all right. Like, and it wasn't even Halloween. I saw it. I think it was around my birthday. First time I saw Evil Dead because it was like a slumber party. Me and homie from next door, classic. Go to the video store, rent a movie. I just saw it. I was
man,
like,
we were the last generation.
right? And that felt so fun of like, all right, we're gonna get pizza tonight, pop popcorn, and go get a freaky ass movie, dude. That's where the love came of scary movies, of like bonding with a homie, like, dude, this is kind of freaky, right? That's totally where it came from. So rented the Evil Dead because the cover, the classic cover with the hand coming out, you know, I was like, oh, that looks sick. And the Book of the Dead is on the back, so we got the VHS, went back to the crib, put it on the living room with my pops. And I look at him, like, ooh, he's just love it. It's just hilarious. But now I watch Evil Dead, and it's a comedy from the get-go.
Yeah.
It was spooky as shit the first time I saw that movie.
Wow, the first one.
The first one.
How could it not be though, right? I
Lights off.
acted surprised because
Now it is
I'm
surprising.
Just trying to get, but no, if you
5th grade.
wow,
5th grade.
that's
like,
gonna be spooky.
The like Book of the Dead. The
reason for that is because the first one wasn't a comedy intentionally.
You're right.
It's
right.
a comedy.
It's become
ironically,
like a cult classic.
Second and third one. I mean, those ones are very. They understood what they were doing, and they like doubled down into it.
My boomstick.
The first one is spooky though.
It was great. It was well, and that just launched so much from there. The kids going to a camping place.
Great graphics.
You know what I mean? It looked good. It was graphic. It's
the
crazy.
camera shots how they would like run. They would have it. The guy would just have it on a thing and just run through the forest, and you would have those fast shots of the camera, just long, drawing
it sounded
out.
eerie. They did a great job, man. I remember thinking, and it looked, because it was old, and we were, you know, in the 90s at this time.
Young.
It looked creepier. I always say
That's
VHS
true.
is creepy.
That's true.
There's something creepy about a VHS that a DVD can't capture. You know, streaming on Netflix can't capture. It's just thrown in the freaky old VHS. It's just like something else. So, and Evil Dead starts with that smoky beginning, and you're like, what? It just felt like such a ride. Yeah, that's my nostalgic pick forever, rock and roll. And
Sorry, I'm writing some stuff down. Go ahead.
shout out to Sam Raimi, who made that and then later made Spider-Man and all that good stuff. Shout out to him. And the remake of The Evil Dead, I like almost just as much.
The second Evil Dead where the nerdy little dudes reading the thing in the
Hate that guy.
But you're talking about that movie though, right?
Yeah, the like 2000 version. Yeah,
I liked it too.
I thought it was. We all went to that. Remember that?
I liked
it's
it
like
too.
You, me, Laddie, Mojo. We were like, dude. It was for me. I was like, this is a big deal. They're remaking The Evil Dead.
But
the
Sam
preview looks good.
Sam Raimi made that one as well.
He was like, yeah, he produced that one.
Wow, good for him.
And one, I just saw a preview today for they're remaking The Grudge, but it's Sam Raimi and the guy that made Evil Dead, and it looked Harold from Harold and Kumar's in it. John, I forgot his name. I'm not gonna mess it up. He's like the main dude in it. I was like, this looks kind of lit, actually.
The Grudge, huh?
The Grudge.
That
yeah.
was a spooky movie back in the day for sure.
Yes.
That was a good one.
The Grudge isn't, but one of those is in my honorable mentions.
Asian spooky is spooky.
They're pretty good at it.
They got a whole other sect of spooky.
They've
Big
brought the little
big
girl
face,
thing.
dark eyes. That's
Bangs,
spooky,
dark.
spooky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Evil Dead.
Do you? And it really, Evil Dead sparked a huge cult following of people that not only support the previous, but it spawned other movies and a TV show. And I don't know
That
if you've
blows
seen
my
the
mind.
TV show, but it is awesome, man. That TV show is
blows my mind.
so good.
And it
so
still
good.
looks like
and it's Ash.
the old. Yeah, it's Ash.
It's
Like,
not a
it's
different
cool.
guy. It's
yeah,
him.
right. Bruce Campbell, baby.
And when you see Bruce Campbell at Comic-Cons, that guy loves it and he relishes it.
does.
He knows what he is. He knows what he
Yes.
is. He's an icon.
Especially for low budget. Dude, when I saw it with my friend in 5th grade, it was like our little secret flick. We thought it was so cool. Like when we found out there was another one.
Needless.
And another one, it blew our minds. It wasn't like, oh, this is a cult phenomenon.
Right.
No, it just blew our minds. So seeing it now, I never, ever would have thought it would be what it is. I never thought it would be a TV show.
That's so cool.
It is kind of cool. It was like, wow, that's crazy. I'd be curious to talk to that dude about it.
The
Let's see for
art,
20 years.
people paint for it. People make songs about it.
That
I mean,
Book of the Dead is like iconic.
I went to a little, art museum thing for it, and I got to see some of the original scripts for some of the scenes. I got to
Hell
see
yeah.
the some of the, I don't know what they're called, like stunt doubles for the props. I got to see stunt
That was
doubles
pretty cool.
from the movie, actual props that they used in takes. So that was really cool. It's just crazy how popularized that is. My wife absolutely adores it. That's the only
It's
reason
cool,
I've
yeah.
seen all that shit. So
And it's also like it was one of my first thoughts of like, man, I feel like I could make something like this. Like seriously, my whole life I've thought, man, The Evil Dead is a thing. I feel like I would love to be involved in something like that. It sparked my interest and stuff like that too, which is interesting. That's always led into that.
Chainsaw Massacre style, it does feel like, oh, I could do this. It gives you that. And I'm not saying that in Sam Raimi's insult. I'm more insulting Chainsaw Massacre style because that's one of those, you go to see an open mic for comedy and you're like, oh, I'm funnier than this person. I could do
I'm
this.
hilarious.
And
What's going on here?
that's what propels you into the industry. It's like you see something low budget
yeah.
that and you're like, man, that's attainable.
Attainable. They
That's
didn't spend 80 million. This isn't like a Terminator. You
Right.
know what I mean? It was, yes.
That's
like,
I'm
they
not
put it
insulting.
together.
That's more or less what I mean.
Right.
It feels like it's more obtainable when you see something done on
Like
a
Transformers, you know?
menial budget, right?
Right.
When we were kids, there was a saga that was really, I feel like as I was growing up and it's like the Michael Jordan of horror movies in terms of the way that it has been merchandised. Like the amount of money that has been made off of this iconic character. I mean, we grew up with them. It was good, and then it became annoying. And then when I grew up, I rewatched the series, and I was like, oh, okay, now I understand why it was so impactful.
Okay.
Do you remember the Scream movies?
Boy, oh boy, do I ever.
You can't not, right?
If you grew up in our time, you're familiar with Scream, dude. Absolutely.
Cameron Crowe, what's his name? the director?
Wes Craven.
Wes Craven.
Cameron Crowe.
Cameron
That's
Crowe.
a whole vibe.
That was
right
a good
there.
one, though, right?
That might be our alter ego.
Wes Craven killed those movies.
Yeah.
I think he loves horror movies.
Oh, dude,
And
he's a horror legend. Yeah.
He understood the meta behind it, not just from his history, but his love of the horror films. Like
Yes.
he knew what to bring to the table. Slasher wise, the characters were meta, the script was meta, everything was self-involved. It was very self-aware, and everybody knew what was going on. And when you're a kid, you can't appreciate all that stuff. But when I was I watching it as a young man, it was, boy, that shit freaked me the fuck out, man.
They promoted it
Perfectly.
so well. Like it kind of went with
Remember
like
the
this
trailer?
MTV genre that was like really cooking at the time.
Perfect.
They were appealing to like the youth, and they indulged in the like, okay, we realize now the horror flicks that weren't supposed to be hilarious are looked at kind of humorous. So let's just add that humor right in before you can call it. You can't call it corny. Scream can't be corny because we're kind of trying to do that. So we're doing our own thing, but now you're still freaked out about it. And like, what's going on? It's casual, but people are dying in the movie. Like,
Right.
what's happening here? Yes, they actually did a really good job.
Do you
with
remember the
those.
trailers?
Definitely. Hey, Cindy. And then those became iconic and just like the parodies of them. And Carmen Electra running through. Yeah, like,
It
crazy.
all culminates.
Yes.
It's a very the first how much balls do you have to have as a director to be like, who's the most well-known actress in this movie? Drew Barrymore? Okay, we're going to kill you in the first 10 seconds
gone.
of this movie, okay? No problem. And then everyone else has to carry themselves.
Not the most famous, the most likable character. Drew Barrymore is always the most likable character in any movie she's ever been in. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like, you knock her out real quick. So oh shit, okay, all right.
And from that movie, how infamous was that mask? It still lives today.
I had one.
Yeah, it still lives today.
That was a Halloween thing I did. Like,
Remember the
probably 3
the
years.
glow in the dark one?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
From the second one.
You still see those around now and then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I won't say as iconic as the Michael Myers mask though, but still.
No, but still in that ballpark. And when
It's
you
in that
can get
ballpark.
yourself on the Mount Rushmore of Halloween masks, you're in that.
You're in there.
That's big.
It really is.
That's
Yeah.
big. You got Freddy up there, Jason, Mike Myers, and I would definitely put the Scream mask up there.
Yeah. You
Because
have to.
it embodies multiple villains. It embodies like a concept, which Mike Myers, Jason, and Freddy all three do.
Right.
I think that's the quintessential makings of an iconic horror character.
And the Scream one, it lives on in a different. Mike Myers is Mike Myers. Jason was Jason.
Freddy
the
was
Scream,
Freddy.
Exactly. Scream becomes whoever's wearing the fucking mask.
Right.
So you could have
That's
like
extra spooky.
Yeah, that's a whole different.
It could be
thing.
any fucking buddy, and that's a
Yeah.
part of what makes that movie so scary. That's a different take on the slasher. The slasher makes it where it's this one guy coming after you the whole thing,
Is he
and it's
supernatural? Like what's
he's
going on here?
endless. But what makes
Yeah.
Scream endless is people willing to take on the mantle
Right.
and go after Sydney.
Psycho's down. Yeah. Psycho's down to continue being a creep. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
One of my favorite. I have to say one of because I can't. My memory's not good enough. But one of my favorite cameos of all time. Jay and Silent Bob are in the third one. Do you remember that? Probably not,
don't
right?
recall the
It
third
is
one
so
like that.
fast that it happens.
Yeah?
Courtney Cox is walking out of a studio, Miramax studio. Guess
Of course.
what the studio is producing? Scream is also Miramax. Well, the studio that also produces all of Kevin Smith's movie
Yeah,
is also
surprise,
Miramax.
surprise, yeah.
Well, Wes Craven is a giant Kevin Smith fan. So he contacts Kevin Smith, asks him if he wants to be in the movie.
No shit.
They make an appearance as Jay and Silent Bob. Him and Jay Muse are in the fucking movie. Courtney Cox is walking out of a studio building into another thing as, her character. And Jay he comments something, says something about her ass, says, I don't know, says something mean to her and she moves on. Anyways, flash forward to when I'm like 14, Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back comes out. I've already seen Scream 3 at this point. Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back comes out. Lo and behold, they bust in on a scene for Scream 3 in the making when they're like, the monkey is the fuck ends up being the Scream guy.
Oh, shit.
It's a fucking full drawback in this
it's pretty dope.
epic meta thing, which Scream is built out of. So the fact that Wes Craven and Kevin Smith got together on that, it really solidifies it as absolutely one of my favorite childhood movies. And as an adult watching it, rewatching it, to understand what it was of just because a teenager, you start to shit on it. You're like, oh yeah, that movie, whatever. That
I got to that point. You mentioned it. It got annoying after a while.
Because the mask.
Yeah, it was just too much everywhere.
But those people also didn't understand the meta and the funniness behind it. It was intentional. It's like, if you're taking that movie seriously, you're not enjoying it properly. That movie's supposed to be dumb. You're supposed to be saying, run, bitch, run!
Yeah,
And
exactly.
If you're not saying that and you're not laughing about it, you're not enjoying that movie to
You
the
didn't get it,
capacity.
bro.
Yeah. But I feel like we can't talk about Screams without mentioning, easily one of the best remakes of any movie of all time.
Drop it.
No, you know what it is. Dude, come on. Scary movies? 1 and
my
2,
God.
3, 4, 8.
Yeah,
The Wayans brothers.
In the Wayans brothers days, that's when it was hot. 1 and 2, man.
Hot.
1 and 2.
Hot.
And you can say arguably 3
Well,
people like a lot too.
They stopped producing them after 3.
After the second one, I
the
think.
second one?
Yeah, the third one became PG-13. It became way more like Leslie Nielsen style.
Yeah.
Like
Naked
like
Gun.
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
Life. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Which I saw not too long ago. It is entertaining, but the second one just hits, to me, the hardest of all those, man. No question about it. Like, the Wayans brothers come through so hard in that, and it's just, they make everything silly. Where nothing, you can't, even the scary stuff now, you're just like, well, that's just funny, which kind of wraps into our, another one that we want to refer to, but.
Yeah, but they have such a sexual deviance about it. And
they're so good at that.
yeah.
They're keeping like a weird, freaky, horny, and like Ray, Shawn Wayne's character of like the arguably gay, but he's like, oh, but I'm not gay, but it's
Super
just like,
gay.
he's like, I left you see like second best seat in the house, like just the back and forth with David Cross in the wheelchair, and I never remember this guy's name from like There's Something About Mary, the caretaker.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, why don't you give me a standing ovation?
He's Ray. I can't remember Ray's brother, and
Yes,
everybody loves
the
Raymond.
wacky,
His brother-in-law.
yes, wacky
Ray's
guy.
brother's
always.
brother-in-law. Yeah.
It's just the whole strong hand. People still refer to that.
The
all
strong
time,
hand
dude.
is a meme.
That's a whole life, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. And they're actually, the Wayans brothers are good at that because the white chicks thing.
That's how good Scream was. It launched another franchise.
Seriously.
But the Wayans brothers have been doing the
Don't Be a Menace and like.
they've been doing the
Their brothers.
parody things their whole career almost. So I can't say that they've gone that far without it.
But he used my strong hand.
My strong hand. I think we've quoted that 8 bajillion and a half times.
Who hasn't?
Yeah.
That was like Borat before Borat. That's like,
But I feel like the quintessential 90s scary movie, if I was going to put one movie in the category of from when we were kids that came out, would be The Sixth Sense. And
it was a great flick, man.
it's a great flick. It's M. Night Shyamalan's
Shyamalan!
best and only good flick that he's ever made.
Maybe, man. Maybe.
All the other ones are dog shit in comparison. He's done
Unbreakable's
TV
good.
shows. I mean, I can't list all that, but that movie, still to this day, you're watching it and you're like, I understand. Even if you're not scared, you understand why you were scared at first.
Oh, I don't question it at all when I watch the movie. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right.
I was watching it in bed. My wife was asleep, and I was watching it on the laptop, and just terrified. And out of nowhere, he gets up to go to the bathroom, and as the little boy's taking a piss, the female ghost, I think she's like a domestic violence victim or whatever. She walks from behind him, and the jump scare right there, bro, it scared the living shit out of me. I grabbed my wife, and
The
she was
dogs
dead
woke up.
asleep. She's like, what? What's wrong? What's wrong? I was like, I just got scared.
Nothing.
I got scared.
Go back to
I'm
sleep.
sorry,
You had a
nothing.
nightmare.
It's fine. Dude, scary. That movie is scary, man.
It hits. It really hits.
And I saw the movie when I was a little kid.
Oh yeah, whenever it came out.
Scared the living shit out of me. And parents were like, "Oh yeah, we can all watch this together. It's a family movie.
Together, because it's a big deal.
It's a family movie."
But that it was like horror makes it like, dude, that one was so tricky because it was a good film. A lot of people argue that scary movies are just, they're just like campy, just trying to get meat in the seats.
That's fair.
I mean, that movie was
it's like gore or something like that, like Saw. And
gore was not the attraction.
No, this is a very well thought out.
Bruce Willis, and Haley Joel Osment, no, he's one of the best child actors of all time. Yes. And then who's this new director? M. Night Shyamalan. Who is this guy? What's his next stuff gonna be? And then everybody's that was his next stuff. Okay, well,
yeah, but luckily that movie has held him up for the last 30 years. He is still making movies, and he started making movies when we were babies.
And he tricks me every single time.
Every single time.
I always want to see what he comes out with.
I'm hoping that it's going to be the same thing, but he just keeps following the formula of there's got to be a twist.
A twist.
But that twist was one of the greatest twists of cinema history.
I would hate if I would have known.
Nobody.
If I would have predicted it or something,
anybody
I would have been so pissed.
That says that. I've rewatched that movie enough to say that there's no way you could call it. There's no way. The only issue is they don't show Bruce Willis talking to his mom ever. And that wouldn't happen. Now, you could argue that it's just that's not the momentum of the picture. They're showing the kid's perspective. They're not showing Bruce Willis's perspective as much, but they do show Bruce Willis's perspective. You'd really have to be attuned to story structure in a whole other way and wanting to bust it apart to catch it. And if you did, you're one in a million. And
you nailed it.
Guess what? You hate movies. If you caught that shit, you hate movies. You don't like movies enough to go see it in the theaters and shit like that because that movie, terrifying, catches you off guard. You get wrapped up in the storylines.
You're lost into the Haley Joel. I was like, this is a good kid.
Why
is life so fucked? What's going on?
You're constantly questioning. He's the only one that could see him. Is he crazy? Are we seeing him be schizophrenic right now?
Right.
And for a boy, I'm talking about me and you, to watch that movie and still be impacted by those emotions as a child, the same quality as an adult. That movie is fucking terrifying, bro.
It blew my brain apart at the end. I was like,
but then has a positive ending, although being a terrifying ending. The positive ending is that Haley Joel Osment goes on to help out these ghosts, fix their lives or whatever. Whereas Bruce Willis finds out that he's a fucking ghost and then goes to heaven or whatever.
or wherever.
Purgatory. They don't really leave you feeling good about death in that movie.
Not so much.
And as a child to be watching that, bro. Quintessential.
This is a journey, bro.
Quintessential scary ass movie.
Yeah.
And if someone tells you that ending beforehand, they suck.
Oh man, that's a horrible person that would do that.
They suck.
Leave that person alone in the dust.
All right, we've gotten to the point of the podcast where we got to give some honorable mentions out before we start getting into anything else.
Quick honorable mentions.
Talking to the mic, man. You're
talking to the mic.
Talking
to the mic. The Ring. I'm throwing The Ring out.
You're throwing The Ring out. Terrifying movie, dude.
It really freaked me out as a young guy.
Yeah.
One of the first ones to ever, at that age and to this day, I could think probably the scariest movie I've ever seen. And that's mind-boggling for me to say.
It is terrifying.
Some people don't find it scary at all. Some people didn't click like that.
Those people, liars.
They're liars.
They're liars.
Liars.
They don't understand scary movies. They don't understand little scary Asian girls. They don't understand anything like that.
The Well, her coming on the TV.
All of it.
It was a whole vibe. What I just said about the VHS stuff, how VHS tapes are scary, they ate that up. They totally saw that right before we moved into that. It's genius. It's great. I really dug that movie.
Dust.
Spooky.
Speaking of VHS, I got to throw a VHS out there.
Yo.
Because that's got simultaneously one of my scariest favorite scenes ever. That
Remember watching that?
That little clip. I love horror. I think horror movies it does encapsulate, you can't do dramas like this, but you can do comedies and horrors in short little clips. Some horror stuff and short little things. Some of the most terrifying stuff you're ever going to see.
Keeps it eerie. Not everything's in your face the whole time.
You don't need a giant story. You just need to be scared.
What?
Just need to be scared.
I think that was the most on the same level we've been watching a horror flick. We were like, yo, what is going on here, dude? It just looks fucked.
never been scared with a grown man in the same room before. That scared through the whole thing. Where I'm watching it like, what the is
It's
this
crazy.
real? Where is this real came across my head? Is this real came across my head? And that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Watching the succubus lift that man out of the sky and drop him,
They did a pretty good job with that.
terrifying.
It looked.
Or was it
looked
him
good.
that dropped, or was his camera that dropped? I think it was just his camera that dropped, and then she
Might
was
have- yeah,
pulled.
might
I
have
think that
been.
was the whole thing.
Yeah. She was
Fucking
good. Yeah,
eyeing.
I didn't
bro.
think of that. That's a good pullback there. That's
Fuck
good.
you, man. Fuck
Got
that
him.
movie, dude.
It's freaky.
Everything else, dog shit.
Dog shit. That first
VHS
12
2,
minutes?
dog shit.
Whoa.
Don't waste your time.
Please don't.
But that first succubus thing,
Captivating.
terrifying.
Terrifyingly captivating.
Fucks you up for the rest of your life. You'll never have sex with a stranger ever
You
again.
better not.
Ever. Especially one that looks like that.
Not like that. No,
You got
no.
another one?
Young Frankenstein.
That's a good one.
Frankenstein. Great.
Didn't see it till I was a
Fun.
little bit older, but I knew that it
So
was a
fun.
classic when I was a kid.
Right.
As funny as that sounds.
Mel Brooks. Gene. Oh my God. Gene
Classic.
Wilder. God on Earth.
Yeah.
R.I.P. While we were talking, I thought Jeepers Creepers.
Jeepers Creepers is good too.
I like that. Filmed
Yeah.
in Florida. It was spooky. I would like to see that. I always enjoy it. It's fun.
Yeah. I only remember clips because I've only seen it a handful of times and I saw it when
Okay.
I was a kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, scary.
There's some like, oh shit, like freakiness in there. It was fun.
Absolutely.
Backwoods freaky. Always a good time. How about you? What you got, buddy?
Twilight Zone, the movie, 1983.
Yo.
Terrifying. There's that plane scene, that remake of the
Iconic.
infamous there's something on the plane.
Something on the way.
Something. That iconic little clip remade. Man, John Lithgow kills it. He's such
an actor, man.
a better actor. And I don't mean that insultingly. I think William Shatner was just a younger man, so
Different time,
it's
different
just
time, different vibe.
But Lithgow knew what he was doing and man,
Boom, boom.
smashed it. And they knew they didn't do CG. It was that perfect 80s and 90s was the transition where it's like
Crazy costume.
Blade was probably when that big transition happened, where they
Ew.
started just fuck it, let's use CG. We don't
Blade.
need to spend money on anything else. Let's just spend money on these little nerds that make stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not
That's
saying
tight.
wrong or right, but I do kind of appreciate the costume guys.
Oh, I need the costume.
I like the costume.
I have no fear. That's what separates 28 Days Later from what's the one with Will Smith? With what the hell was that called? You know what I'm talking about though?
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. That's what. There's nothing spooky about those CG creatures coming out of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That movie bombs because of that. It could have been cool, kind of, but it was still such a bomb from 20 Days Later, which I'll throw an honorable mention. But I don't correlate that with Halloween. That's just a great.
No, but it
freaky
is a
flick.
good movie. We
Amazing.
should talk about it. The first one is great. The opening scene of the second one, it's amazing. That
Yeah,
thing's so
yeah.
terrifying. I think it's one of the few sequels to a horror movie that actually holds up.
Yes.
We know what's going on already, but they add another element to it, which is the U.S. involvement and what happens when it gets globalized.
Now you're really fucked.
Yeah, well, they shut down everything. I think it's really unique when you have two horror movies that could stand toe-to-toe with one another, and you take a personal story and then make it a global story. And they did a really good job of that.
They did, which
Yeah.
was dope.
I think we have
Honorable mention.
to talk about the Crypt Keeper, too. Crypt Keeper?
Crypt Keeper. And yeah, we could put actually Bordello of Blood and
All that stuff in
is
there.
it Demon Knights? Is that what it's called?
Well,
The one with Billy Zane.
I would
Awesome.
I would naturally put that all in not just the TV show, but the TV show's okay, but the movies were hardcore. I love the TV show,
movies.
but the TV show's okay. When you watch the whole thing, TV show's okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit in there. There's a lot
Yes.
of shit in there.
It's a thick catalog.
When you watch the Ollie G show, solid as the rock,
Every piece.
thick and through. All
Oh,
right,
yeah.
no time wasted. They did it.
Zero.
Same company, same regulations of like show maintenance or whatever. It's like, yikes. There's some weeks they could have taken off. They could have taken weeks off.
Tales from the crypt.
He's the best part of that. Where
Crypt Keeper,
like,
man.
if
Legend.
he's the best part of the episode, they got to clip the episode. Right. And
That's where that laugh comes from. Oh shit!
yeah,
Yeah,
dude, come on,
Crypt
baby.
Keeper, damn.
That
Legend.
the movies are where it's at, though. I think the Bordello of Blood,
That was a lot of fun.
my favorite vampire movie.
favorite thing with Dennis Leary ever.
Probably. Probably.
Undeniably, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Demon Knights was fun though.
There was a vampire movie I wanted to mention too. We talked about. Oh yeah,
Nosferatu?
from the
Yeah, for
Disney,
sure, man.
the Disney flick. My mom's dating a vampire.
Oh yeah.
Mom's dating a vampire.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
That's a
I'm
good one.
sure that's a fun Disney flick.
I usually watch that.
Halloween flick.
I'll watch that once a year.
Oh, yeah, once a year. See what's going
Classic while I'm making dinner. Throw it on.
on. It's okay.
Making pumpkin seeds.
Pumpkin seeds. Okay. So if we were to take, we've thrown out willy-nillys kind of at this point, a lot of fun stuff. If we were to put a print
Oh, The Thing.
on the one that we can call, maybe it's not necessarily our favorite, but we can culminate and say this is the best. What are we saying it is?
Well, for me, I'm not religious. Okay, I'm going to start by saying that. But when you put God and demons into stuff,
You can make me religious real fast. Man. You can make me
that's when I pray that night.
fear of God.
That's for
if you
whatever
will.
reason. I'll go ahead and, dear Lord, if you're out there, whatever, please don't
man.
let the devil
Don't
come
let the-
inside of my asshole and kill me tonight because this is a terrifying movie. That's when I'll do that. So
Yeah.
religion movies is probably, and the first time that I ever saw that, I was probably like 10 or 9, and I walked into somebody else's house, and in their living room they were watching The Exorcist, dude. I can't
Come inside, Tommy.
I can't express to you
Grab a seat. It just started.
mid exorcism where like shit is buck, and
Hovering
I
over
have
the bed.
zero explanation of what's going on. And for the next 20 minutes, I watched basically a third of the movie. I don't see the ending. I don't see the beginning. I just see a nugget of that movie, and I don't
Linda
leave
Blair.
feeling anything else. And then I have questions for my mom later on, and I asked my mom what happened. I said I saw a movie, and there was the devil and stuff like. And I explained to her, and she's like, "The Exorcist? Did you see The Exorcist?" And she starts freaking out, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. And she's like, "Listen, the devil's real." And then she starts like explaining that basically
Okay.
like that can happen. So my mom is religious and believes that that's a world that. So I'm a child, and I think now that the thing that I just saw on the film is a real thing.
Good night,
Is
sweetie.
basically a documentary, and it's gonna. So that shit has haunted me for the rest of my life. The Exorcist is probably easily the scariest movie of my childhood.
It's
That's up there.
What a classic. You know what I mean?
Is that up there for you?
100%. Yeah. I think.
Really?
I think we have to agree to put that at the number one of like at least like spookiest movie of all time, because I correlate my childhood experience, and I've always thought with scary movies. I think this always
When did you see that? When you were like 2.5?
probably, dude.
And it
Like,
came out of the womb as the first thing your sister's shown you. She's like, "Hey,
Bro,
mom,
hey,
let me
check
take
this out.
Brian into the room real quick."
my sister saw it in the theater by herself.
Crazy.
At my mom worked for like Paramount and in like this movie theater, and my sister saw it. Just they're like, what?
Fascinated.
Young, like
Yeah.
9, probably the same age I was, and yeah, it was just spooky off rip. And I always thought, what was this like when it came out?
Oh, lit.
Like my mom and my dad were like, wow, that movie was huge. It was like it was a huge event.
In from the 50s and on, the religious feeling in this country was heavy.
And
So,
they just
when you come into it in the 60s and 70s and they start lacing that stuff up, where they start incorporating religion with their horror movies, oh
Bro,
man,
that's it.
using
That
it
is the
against
twist.
them, oh boy,
that's the twist.
spooky dust.
And just like the lettering, I remember like the cover with like
I already
the
know what
light
you're talking
pole and
about.
all of it. They did such a good job with that.
They
just
knew.
promoting it, what they were doing.
They knew.
People back then were watching it like it was this like sacrament, like it was like this evil thing,
Like
and,
a Ouija
churches were-
board.
exactly. It was like, man. So that must have been such a whole vibe. And I remember seeing it. It was the 30th anniversary, seeing it with my dad in the theater, and it was like, this holds up. This is crazy. This is a crazy flick, man.
It is crazy.
Wild.
You still walk away feeling scared. And the remakes of it have been crazy. And the remakes that aren't the remakes but are the remakes are still crazy. Any Possession movie really is a remake of that, because you're stealing
God.
essences from that movie that really have lasted the test of time.
Well, the premise is it's as good as it gets. If you have that fear of God at all, even if you don't, you will develop. You're like, wow,
I
dude,
feel
did
like
that happen?
especially if you don't.
It's like, oh shit.
You know what I mean? If you don't believe in God, that freaks you out even more. You're like, oh shit. 'Cause if you believe into it and you buy into the art of it, you're freaked out, especially. Because if you believe in God, then you're like, oh well, I'm okay because I believe in God.
I pray every night.
Every night, I'm okay.
They happen to me.
I got a cross on my chest. I'm good.
Not my problem.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's you demon man.
Yeah, freaking demon. And that sparked one of our casual honorable mention, The Devil Inside.
I would say The Devil Inside is probably the
What
scariest
a name.
movie as an adult that I've seen that fucked me up.
Spooky shit, huh?
That
Yeah.
fucked me up.
It got us pretty good.
I was in my 20s.
Did we see it in the theater?
Yeah. Fucked me
It was just
up.
like you and me in there, just like.
Fucked me up.
It
Connect
was
the
spooky,
cuts.
man. Connect the cuts
Connect
is a
the
horrible
cuts.
phrase.
And then they went on to the thing. It's like, why are we? It was all scary, man. Then the car accident thing. I mean, they
Woo!
could have had a better ending maybe, but like that
Yeah,
still
but
was a scary ass movie.
A shitty ending made it more spooky. Like, there's no resolution. It's like, it's alive. It's still going. You know, like, it's not stopping.
I like found footage stuff. The found
Me too.
footage feeling of that movie was perfect.
Yeah.
They rarely do they nail that of like, yeah, dude, the way that we picked this movie up is the same way that we're putting it down.
Right.
Out of nowhere.
And enjoy. Here we go.
The middle is what counts.
The middle's what counts. Yes. The middle's what counts.
And
That's
maybe
right.
that's why The Exorcist freaked me the fuck out so much
because
because
you got the middle.
I saw the middle of
You
it.
got only the middle.
I've only seen the whole movie once, and I probably have to rewatch it all again.
It's kind of long.
It is
it's
a long movie.
It's not all terrifying.
No, it's one of those dual sets.
A
And
lot of chit chat.
I mean, Luna clearly doesn't want us to watch it again.
Oh no, she never.
She's-
She doesn't want us to bring it up.
That's the difference between dogs and cats. Dogs are clearly rooting for God and angels.
Cats are
No, cats are the devil. When you get cats involved, that's when you know.
demon seed.
Yeah, that's a bad thing.
It's a bad thing.
I agree with you.
That's a Halloween classic. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
That's a known fact.
So Cats the musical, Halloween classic,
Terrifying.
terrifying.
Any other honorable mentions or Halloween classics that you can mention? I think everything that we mentioned is good to go. You know, if you're gonna, if you want a lineup, our lineup solid as a rock.
I'm glad you brought up the screams because we needed to get a I personally, I don't like the slasher genre personally.
No, but that's why Scream's so good because it's making fun of them.
Yes.
If I was gonna pick one of the slashers, Freddy, solid as a rock. There's some movies
yeah.
in there that are like he's cussing and it's awesome.
That's
Like
when it gets
if
pretty
you're
entertaining.
talking about a comedy slasher, him calling people bitches is
That's very
the
entertaining.
funniest thing
Yeah.
ever. And that guy,
It's like grungy. It's real.
he relishes that role.
Hell
He
yeah.
knows that's his jam.
Absolutely.
And that's led to all of his other stuff. So when he's doing it, you can see him. The Rick and Morty Scary Terry thing.
Scary Terry.
They nailed that bitch thing.
Bitch,
You
yeah.
realize when you watch him, he says bitch a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
More than Aaron Paul in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
He says it a lot.
Oh, I have another honorable mention. Damn.
Give it
I
to
feel
me.
Bad. Hellraiser. Yeah, that's
Never watched it.
dude. Peep it.
I got to see it?
At least the first one.
Okay.
It's great. Hellraiser. There's a reason why he's the pinhead. Like why he's like a whole
Iconic.
thing. Yeah.
I will say that when I was a kid, you'd walk through the movie aisles and you just see those covers.
There was so many of
So
them.
many of them. Boom, 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 boom.
Boom, boom, boom.
Like, oh my God, those are terrifying,
That's true.
man.
He was. Yeah. There was so many of them. I came late into the game into Hellraiser, and I like them.
The new Child's Play, slamming.
I gotta see that.
Slamming.
It has to be streaming now, right?
It is the best
I gotta see.
Chucky movie that they've ever made.
Okay.
It is the only one that makes sense. It's the only one that all the other ones are like, you got to have the demon, you know,
That's
like the
hilarious,
whole thing.
though.
It is funny, but this one is so good. This
I
one's
did kinda like,
so
I think it was
good.
the third one where they're like in that military camp or something like that.
That's it, but that's like the when they start getting into the earnest world, like Chucky goes to the military.
Wherever,
It's like,
yeah.
come on, man, what are we doing here? We can't.
Chucky in
that's-
the Bahamas.
That's Chucky in the Bahamas. Can't do that.
like a lay on. It's
Can't do that. The I know what you did last winter.
Yep.
4.
Yeah.
Can't do that. Can't do that. Got to be done after a while. You got to set the franchise down.
You do.
You
do.
can't always be a 28 days later where you can do 2 great
28
movies.
years
But even they,
later.
yeah, that's blow your mind.
It's coming up, man. It's coming up.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much our list. Guys, go out there and I almost want to play some.
Watch them all if you haven't. You know what I mean?
Well, do you think that there's Is there a movie that you haven't seen that you would want to see outside?
Ooh, that might be a Halloween classic that I don't know is a Halloween classic.
Yeah.
There has to be some lying around there that I'm so late to the game and don't know. Man, I wonder, right? Something's going to blow my mind.
Something's going to blow my mind, too.
Something old, I'm sure. But, this is fun as hell.
That's one of the cool parts about Halloween is that there's always good Halloween movies that are being made constantly and horror movies that are constantly being made.
We won't know for years or ever.
It's never going away. It's never going away.
Reanimator's one of those kind of fun. If you haven't seen.
Reanimator's a good one. I got bored with it the last time, but maybe you just gotta be extra high maybe or something.
Always.
Yeah.
Rule number 1.
Well, guys, stay safe this Halloween. Make sure to check your candy before you eat it. You never know what's going to be inside. Take
my chances.
This is a listener-supported podcast. If you guys want to become a part of it, go to our Patreon page, TV Productions. You can also like and subscribe. It helps us in the algorithms as well. You can also check out the link to our Butcher Box, and that gives us some help with it, and also gives you guys some, I think it's like a $30 credit to you guys' next purchase.
That's pretty dope.
Anything else that we want to mention other than having a great Halloween?
Have a great Halloween. Check that damn candy and trick or treat till you fall.
Trick your treat, guys. All right, man. Have a good one. We'll talk to you guys soon. Enjoy those movies.
Stay spooky with it. Listen to Misfits.
And in the comment section, let us know what you guys' favorite movies are. Maybe we missed one and you guys are like screaming at us this whole time. So write it in the comment section, and we'll check out your recommendations while you guys check out some of ours.
Spooky Town.
Peace.
About to arrive with their vocal group, the Crypt Kicker 5.
They played the mash,
They played the Monster Mash.
the monster mash.
It was a graveyard
They
smash.
played the mash,
It caught on in a flash.
they played the mash.
They played the Monster Mash. Out from his coffin, Rex's voice did ring. Seemed he was troubled by just one thing. Opened the lid and shook it.
Working hard or hardly working?